alone, it was estimated to be by 86%. Today, through efforts of many non-governmental and governmental agencies, the prevalence of FGM in the upper regions have significantly improved. But we won't dare say eradicated because perhaps there could still be some traces of that. But today we want to celebrate the successes that we have chalked so far and how we got this far, and also how to maintain the strides made. And for this conversation, I have been joined by Anita Samoa. She is a public health expert for more. Anita, good evening. Thank you so much for your time here on the news.
Good evening.
I believe in your time as a public health expert, you've had some studies concerning female genital mutilation. As a public health expert, have you come across any research that defends the argument that the practice helps control the female libido or sensation in girls?
Okay, yes. There are a few researches that have been done and show that when this is done to the female or to the girls, when they grow up or when they get married, the sexual libido goes down. And actually, it is part of the aims or the reasons why the elderly in the communities always want to do perform the genital mutilation for these girls, because they feel that when it is performed on a girl or a young lady, it would not make her to be wayward or, to be sleeping around with men in coats. So because of that, it is one of the reasons they use in performing the female genital mutilation. Yes, so there are researches backing that.
But so we see that a lot of progress being made for over the last 10 years, if I should estimate. And in your estimation, what do you think we have done really right to, for instance, in the upper regions, take the prevalence from about 86% to now less than 30%?
Okay, yes. What has been done so far is we have to say thanks to the UN, UNFPA, UNDP. I mean, all the international humanitarian organizations for the awareness work they do, the projects they bring, and then we take to the north of Ghana, not even Ghana alone, to other parts of Africa, West Africa and East Africa especially. They are doing a lot. And I think the awareness is going on. Some of these elderly people, they are becoming aware that it is wrong. But then it is because it is a cultural thing, it cannot probably totally be eradicated now. Do you get the point? Gradually, it may go into extinct, but it will be gradual. It can't just be once. So I think the job people are doing there is good. And then we hope more awareness is created, more funding comes so that more projects will be done to create awareness to our elders, our elderly people there who, encourage these practices, to teach the women more, and then to teach these children as well. That's the girl child from the age of 3 years or 4 years when they are in the kindergarten. We can start teaching them to know that if someone, picks you up that I want to go and do this thing to you, you should run. It is wrong, So it's more awareness that is needed. That is it.
So one of the victims we spoke to earlier in our report, I don't know if you made time to watch, but she said when she went into her marriage, she had a problem of satisfying her husband, and the marriage eventually had to get divorced. Let's look at the future or after effect of this particular practice on the people who go through it. Shouldn't we hasten our steps to completely eradicate it instead of saying that it is a cultural thing and so perhaps it might not go completely now?
Okay, that is, yes, what you said is something we can do, but it's not totally possible to do it at once because it is embedded in some people. For example, let me just cite an example here. A lady in diaspora, I'm not mentioning the country, brought her children back home for the female genital mutilation to be performed on them not too long ago, of recent, just late last year. And apparently she was later caught when the eldest of the children, spoke out to the police. So you see, it is cultural. Some people are even educated, but they still want it performed on their girl child or children. So it's a gradual thing. We have to speed it up, but I don't think we can do it in a day, or let me say maybe a year. It's not going to be possible. It's not going to be feasible. It can be done, but not so hastily. Let me put it that way. And as for the women who don't enjoy sexual intercourse with their husbands because of this bad practices, what we have to do is also to educate them, to educate their husbands as well, to let them know that, okay, this woman underwent female genital mutilation. So she has maybe, this is how you go about it, this is how you go about it. But, because of the way we treat sexual talks, when it comes to sex, we are a bit secretive, even with the girl child, even on menstruation, we don't teach them, even the boys as well, we don't teach them anything. So it's an issue. So we can't teach the husbands what to do. We can't teach the wives what to do. There's a problem, but we don't know how to go about it. So I think we should tackle it first by teaching or educating the women who have undergone the female genital mutilation with their husbands, so that they will know how to undergo. How to when they want to have intercourse, how to go about it, gradually. And then I think with time, they will get used to each other, and the woman maybe over time would enjoy sex as well. Because most times as well, our men, I'm not saying all men, our men, they are usually after their own ejaculation. They don't really care about maybe the woman, what we call coming, before, the sex ends. So that is a problem as well. Yeah.
Anita, I'm glad you have mentioned men, because the theme for 2023 is partnership with men and boys to transform social and gender norms to end this particular practice. In your estimation, what do you think is the role of men in ending female genital mutilation completely?
Okay, so here as well, let me give another example. There is a video I saw just last week where the brothers of a little girl or a young girl, they were the ones, running after the girl to catch her, in quotes, for female genital mutilation. Her brothers. So these are our men. These are our own brothers. What happens when our elders tell you as the man or as a brother to bring your sister for female genital mutilation, or your cousins, your female cousins, you tell them no. You educate them as well. Let them know that it is a wrong practice and it is against human rights law. Let them know. Educate them. So I think what the men can do is what? To also come in as educators. Educate our elderly people in the villages. Let them know that it is wrong. This is how the men will help us. And the men as well, the husbands who are married to women who have been genitally mutilated, they should take their time and let these women enjoy sex as well. That is what I would say on that.
Before I let you go, you have talked about the fact that we have to be patient with the process and that it might not be eradicated completely at a go. The UN has set 2030 for the eradication of FGM across all countries. I understand there are about 31 countries that currently have a prevalence. Do you think this target is feasible? Will we be able to end this by 2030?
Oh, yes, it's feasible if more funding will be put in, because it's all about funding. You see, when the more fund is put into it, the more projects we have, the more awareness goes into the hinterlands, goes into the rural communities. Not only in Ghana, Uganda, it is so prevalent in Uganda, other countries. So funding is the problem. And, with our government in Africa, we have a problem because they don't really care about these things. What they care about, you and I know, embezzlement and the rest, they don't think about such projects. So, they don't put money into researches, that will look into all these things, our health systems and all. They don't. So we have a problem on our own. So we are always relying on the United Nations, on the UNICEF, on UNFPA and the rest of them, which is very wrong. So if there are no donors tomorrow, what happens to us as Africans? If there is no America tomorrow, what happens to us? We should, be on our guard and let our government or our presidents, our ministers of health stand up and know that we have to push funding into health researches, and thereby we would be able to do this. Yeah.
Anita, I promise that was my last question, but finally, what advice would you give to women who have gone through this process? Some have been through this for over the past 20 years, but they are still reliving the experience as if it was just yesterday. How would you advise such women to still go on with their lives despite the trauma they might be experiencing?
Exactly. This is a very good question. First of all, I wish I could speak the local dialect of my people in northern Ghana, but I can't speak any, but I can speak Hausa though. But what I will say is, forgive yourself. They should learn to forgive themselves.
Please go ahead and speak the Hausa and then translate it for us in about a minute. Yes.
Yeah, so say Hakuri. Let me put it that way. Hakuri Kawai. Say that you just forgive yourself, and then over time you would you will learn that you will learn how to go about the sexual aspect of it, because it's not something you brought on yourself. It's not something you brought on yourself. So let us just be patient, and that is what I'm just saying. Say Hakuri. Patience would do it. So to the women, forgive yourself and be patient. Let's be patient. Everything will be fine. And because of your experience as well, they shouldn't put, hatred on their children. Maybe when they have children with the men, they shouldn't, because of their own experience, hate the children as well, So we should learn to forgive ourselves. Yes.
Thank you so much, Anita Samoa. She's a public health
expert.
Thank
you very much.
Educating us on the dangers of female genital mutilation and how we can completely eradicate it. But let's do some other stories now. In about